Well, 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 look who's back after yet another year-long hiatus. Yair Rodriguez, one of the UFC's most privileged little divas. I cannot wait to bury him in today's breakdown, because guess what? Today was supposed to be one of my technical breakdowns, and that's still coming, don't worry. But Yair Rodriguez must be fully exposed first. It's literally impossible to be a fan of Yair Rodriguez. You thought Michael Chandler's company privilege was bad. Yair is an inactive, spoiled brat. Diego Lopez replaced you, little bro. I'm sorry your body can't hold up and you're constantly out with injury, but this is what's going to happen because of that. You are going to be passed up by rising prospects like Diego Lopez, and then you're super salty about it. He stole your hype, he stole your ranking spot, and he stole your girl. What is he known for? Sitting out, begging for title shots, freaking the fuck out at Michael Bisping on live TV after he ruined his main event by eye-gouging Jeremy Stephens. It is what it is. Ducking and hiding from dangerous opponents, avoided a USADA drug test. That is super sus. The UFC kisses his ass because he's been their marketable little Mexican for so long, but the reality is, his Taekwondo button-mashing style was kinda cool, I'll be honest. Back in 2017, a fun, sheltered little fighter who the UFC massively promoted and invested in over the years made sure to give him gentle little non-opponents like 40-year-old BJ Penn. Dana White just can't help himself. He must sacrifice legends to new prospects, all for the sake of profit. What a sweetheart, am I right? The great Josh Emmett for your interim title is laughable. If that's not manufactured, fake-ass legacy, I don't know what is, okay? Fluked TKZ and he knows it. God, I still die inside when I see that shit. Volkanovski's easiest title defense could have done it with his damn eyes closed. I know Yair had a fun one with Holloway, don't get me wrong, a few years back. This is true. Congrats. You gave us one banger in your entire career and then ghosted the sport for the next 2 years anyway. So, today's breakdown is going to be a fun one. Who exactly is his next opponent, you may ask? A man who is sure to put Yair Rodriguez through all kinds of hell and discomfort. Gene Lord Silva, an absolute psychopath, fully diagnosed with autism, and a member of the Fighting Nerds. Lethal striker, nasty chokes. Gene Silva is going to clown on Yair, brutally finish him, and then get his Volkanovski title shot. I am ecstatic about this. I was really pulling for a Gene Silva title shot. I think Movsar Evloev is poisoned right now in the featherweight division. He's deserving, yes, but you can't even pretend that you're dying to see one of his fights, or should I say matches, because there's no damage, whole lot of control. So it's breakdown time. This is the UFC Noche main event for September. A high-profile matchup here. Winner is probably fighting Volkanovski next, or at least they're going to push for it. Will Yair Rodriguez get yet another gifted title shot after a 2-year layoff, or will Gene Lord Silva go unhinged, destroy Yair, take him out, and make him quit the sport of MMA for good? Today we are going to find out. Like, comment, subscribe for more UFC breakdowns. I never thought this matchup was possible. I thought Yair's manager would keep him safe from like Diego Lopez, Silva, these savages, and get him someone less dangerous like, I don't know, Jordan Levitt? Yair Rodriguez might be more emotional and autistic than Gene Silva. Gene Silva's playing a character, I swear to God, man. And if you don't believe me when I say this is probably the biggest mismatch we've seen in recent UFC history, let's go ahead and pull up both guys' records real quick, shall we, and get right into this, because it's been a while since I actually, paid any attention at all to Yair's career, because it's kind of a joke as of recently, but look at this resume. It's actually so pathetic for 2026. 40-year-old former Bellator champion, Patricio Pitbull, 40-year-old midge, Josh Emmett, also over 40. It's such a joke. The quality of Yair's wins are actually hilarious. Meanwhile, I know Gene Silva here doesn't have as many wins or as long as a career of Yair. He's put in nearly all of these wins while Yair has sat out. Like, Silva has been putting in fight after fight, multiple times a year. Where the fuck has Yair been? I think he broke his hand in the Pitbull fight, and so that warrants yet another 2-year layoff for him. This is just the career we're dealing with here. I actually think Gene Silva's record here is absolutely fine. Pretty much every single person he's faced is still active in the UFC, bar Weston Wilson. I think he got live executed or something. But Yair Rodriguez, man, we've got some work to do, all right? Your resume's overrated. You get respect for your losses, and that's about it. The flying switch kick on Andre Fili was pretty badass, but that's all I really like about Yair's career, to be honest. It's risky fighting Yair just because he, flails and spins all over the place with his button-mashing Taekwondo type style. But if we're talking risky fight styles, Gene Silva is an absolute agent of chaos, okay? He's constantly fucking with you, playing mind games, barking at you in the cage, grabbing at your hands, sneaking into short range, bombing away with his hooks. Gene Silva has very, very strong punches. Look, I know I'm shitting on Yair in this entire video. This fight is actually going to be fireworks, though. September 12th on the UFC Noche card, and then the very next week, we get Mauricio Rufy against Arman Sarukian and Josh Van Pantoja on a numbered event. That's why I'm so amped up. That's why I'm bricked to see Gene Silva roll up and just do a demolition job on Yair Rodriguez. The UFC in September is cooking. They are cooking again to close out the summer. Thank God, because August has been lacking. I'm just going to say it. So what do we have here? We have the long-range, feint-heavy style of Yair Rodriguez, Taekwondo base, phenomenal kicking game. Yair, incredibly dynamic, highly mobile, fun striking style. There's lots to appreciate when it comes to like Taekwondo and these cool kick setups, all the unique special moves of Yair. That's why he's so marketable as well. Just kidding, we're not in 2016 anymore. Now, Gene Silva is pure chaos. I mean, Gene Silva gets a lot of shit for being completely unhinged, and I get it. Some people can find that annoying. I absolutely love it. I think the featherweight division needs him, needs sort of a total spaz like this to, breathe some life back into the division. I'm a huge Gene Silva fan of the character, fan of the fight style, everything, but what makes him so good? Well, it's his ability to constantly play mind games all the time and just be super unserious and deceptive. He's a real trickster in there, Gene Silva. Doesn't get the credit for that. Low lead hand, constantly waving his arms around, baiting you in with that left hook, and then the right hand always sits people down. It's a serious weapon and comes from the fighting nerds. I'm very convinced that Gene Silva would not be as successful as he is if he didn't have Kyle Bahalio tard wrangling him at the Fighting Nerds. He's coached by complete masterminds. So that is a real big part of this that I'm aware of, that you should be aware of as well. But even still, then Gene Silva recovers and isn't afraid of a war, isn't afraid of uncomfortable fights and uncomfortable situations. Hunted down Diego Lopez in that second round, almost got himself back into that fight. When we talk about accuracy for these two, it's actually Gene Silva. Okay, I know Yair is regarded as a bit of a sharpshooter on the outside, constantly moving laterally. Gene Silva is actually the guy who methodically wades into the firing line and picks guys apart and knocks them out. Trust me, there is a method to his madness, okay? He has phenomenal distance management. He's constantly fucking with his opponent's hands and their mind. The mind games must be so annoying to deal with. You could tell Arnold Allen just wanted out of that fight. Just so annoyed and pissed off at Gene Silva during the fight itself, losing his composure and his focus. So Gene Silva is sort of a mastermind when it comes to striking. I know he looks like a barbarian, trust me, I get it, but he comes from a really high fight IQ gym. Yair is not comfortable in the pocket whatsoever. The one time Yair went into the pocket was on Holloway, and he got stung up and then nodded at him. So cringe. So I'm going Gene Silva for accuracy here. Moving on now for that cardio. Yair Rodriguez, I'm actually going to give some credit here, man. At the end of the day, he is Mexican. Some of the best cardio at featherweight. I know Yair is breakable and a physical wimp in most grappling positions, has some, Hail Mary BJJ, but you tangle up Yair in the clinch on the ground, good God, he is useless. He's a Taekwondo merchant at the end of the day, but I really put a lot into that 5-rounder banger with Holloway. That was an incredible showcase of Yair's conditioning, his cardio. That is the only thing keeping me from calling him a total fraud. To be able to go 5 rounds hard with Holloway like that in the small Apex cage, that is pretty badass. I will give Yair Rodriguez points for that, absolutely. Gene Silva, yet to make it to a decision. I think in his whole career, other than the Kevin Vallejos banger in the Apex on the Contender Series, so far so good for Silva, though. I mean, I haven't seen Lord really fatigued yet. I think somebody like a Movsar Evloev could be the one to tucker out Gene Silva, but other than that, he is on go mode, he is highly aggressive, but I still think edge in cardio needs to go to Yair. Up next is Dodge, who is more of a ninja, who avoids strikes, who hits the matrix out there. Reluctantly, another advantage goes Yair's way. I think the Taekwondo style in MMA does make you evasive, much like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's karate base. Moving laterally, keeping his head off the center line, and avoiding the pocket altogether. I think Yair needs to lean into that, man. He has for the majority of his career. He's a very hard guy to hit. Gene Silva is hittable. We've seen this. When he loses focus, loses composure, and goes totally buck wild, he does wade into the pocket a lot. That's what led Diego Lopez to clipping him with a spinning elbow and knocking him out. Edge and dodge goes to Yair Rodriguez. Up next is Fight IQ. Now, don't be fooled by Gene Silva, okay? He comes from the Fighting Nerds, guys. A gym with 4 superstar prospects all making their way towards UFC titles. Kaya Bahalio at middleweight, Rufi, Prates, and Silva. All of them have great shticks, great gimmicks, but they are elite-level martial artists. Gene Silva is no exception. He is taking his time. He is figuring out his opponents on the fly. Gene Silva is a great adaptive fighter. I don't believe he even comes into the fight with a hyper-tailored game plan for his opponent. A lot of it is breaking them and figuring them out on the night. The way he encroaches forward, talking, barking, looking outside the cage while he has a live opponent in front of him. It's crazy. It is like a daredevil style that Gene Silva plays. But knowing the gym he comes from, it is methodical, it is technical still. I'm giving him the edge in Fight IQ over Yair Rodriguez because I believe Yair, over all these years, still hasn't made the correct adjustments to patch up the holes in his style. The weakness in his weak-ass clinch. His suspect takedown defense, his get-up game. Who has the edge in the grappling? Now, Gene Silva is not a BJJ black belt, okay? He is based out of Muay Thai, okay? But that doesn't mean he doesn't have phenomenal takedown defense, and I just love the way Gene Silva defends takedowns. People will be working single legs on him, trying to connect their hands, and Silva will just be elbowing the shit out of their liver from a clinch position while they are on his hips. I love that weapon. I've never seen anyone really go for that as consistently as Gene Silva does. He defends the takedown really, really well with ninja chokes. That's how he got Bryce Mitchell, and that's sort of what set up his knockout over Charles Jourdain. Yair does not wrestle. Yair is a BJJ blue belt who claims to roll with black belts all the time. Yeah, about that. This guy couldn't last 2 minutes on the ground with old man Edgar. Frankie Edgar, doctor stopped Yair with ground and pound. Swole his eyes shut. That is embarrassing. Edge in grappling going to Gene Silva. KO power is next, and we have to incorporate a lot here because look, Yair can KO you if you're the Korean Zombie and you run into a Hail Mary elbow. This is true. Buzzer beater type shit. And the kicks. Kicks are dangerous. Legs are dangerous in MMA. And Yair likes to throw them a lot. So that Gene Silva needs to be careful of that. He needs to stay composed at all times because Yair is quite reckless at times with those kicks. The switch kick on Andre Fili, I know that's like his only head kick win, but still, that was nasty, okay? He was even going for head kicks on Volk. This is the thing. You got to watch out for those. However, he's getting low KO power because pillow hands. Absolutely pillow hands. Yair has never sat down anyone with a punch, much like John Jones. They can't hurt someone with their fists. It's absolutely insane. They have to throw like bolo elbows and shit to like try and get respect on the feet. It's crazy. Yair has no power, no pop. Gene Silva, the way he stands, the way he's anchored into the canvas and just rips his left hook right hand is diabolical. Gene Silva cuts a lot of weight as well. He's a powerhouse. He knocked out Drew Dober at lightweight. Will Yair's chin hold up? We'll get to that in a moment, but KO power obviously goes to Gene Silva. He is a muscle mutant, and he has skill and technique to back it up. Now, let's finish this breakdown with durability. Can Yair Rodriguez survive an early storm from Gene Silva on the feet and make it into the later rounds with his cardio and pick back up and possibly break Gene Silva in rounds 3, 4, and 5. I do think Yair has a good chin. He's soft as baby shit, marks up real well, bruises easily. I do think his quit button is quite shallow, but Yair's chin is good. Okay, he took a flush headbutt from Volkanovski and was able to sort of like shake it off and, you know, get right back into the fight. And I like that. So he's in a weird spot, Yair. He is sort of bitch made when it comes to being the nail in his fights. Like if Brian Ortega's breaking you, please. If you're having trouble with him, like Gene Silva is going to cook, I swear. What is this breakdown? Yair though, man, at the end of the day, is Mexican, does have a good chin. Gene Silva should go to the body. If you're Gene Silva here, don't waste all your energy hunting the chin of Yair Rodriguez. Go to the legs, go to the body, take him down, rough him up, get your win that way, and the knockout will come. I'm still going edge Gene Silva. I think he is tougher, all things considered. Even if he was KO'd by a spinning elbow off of Diego Lopez, that knocks out everybody. That was a temple shot. That's brutal. Depending on the shape that Yair comes into this fight in, I even think Gene Silva could eat possibly a flush head kick and still recover. So edge and toughness is going to Lord. My hatred for Yair Rodriguez aside, banger Noche main event. I swear if Yair Rodriguez pulls out of this fight, you have to cut him from the UFC because he won't return for another 2 years. Featherweight has moved on, man. We don't need Yair Rodriguez here anymore. He got his privileged interim title shot, his fancy custom belt. He got to role play as a champion for a little bit. Featherweight has moved on. Diego Lopez absolutely replaced you, and you're bitter and salty about it. It is what it is, man. You're not that guy anymore. You're not that guy. Gene Silva's on a tear. He's coming for that title. He's way more entertaining than Evloev. They're gonna give him that shot. I hope he fights Volkanovski before Volkanovski calls it a career. He's literally evil Volk. Like, the storyline and the fight build up to that will be magic. That'll be movie shit. So, sorry Yair, but you belong in 2017. You're being sacrificed. Take this L, go fuck off to Karate Combat or something. It's Gene Silva's time. So as always, hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown, and I will see you all real soon.